All right, everyone, welcome into episode 27 of the Hooley Brothers podcast here on a late Sunday afternoon here. Weather's actually a little bit better than they said it was going to be, but I've been inside after a crazy couple days here. Watching the Celtics probably going to lose this game to the Hornets, which we'll get into in just a minute here. But Mike, how you doing?
Not bad, not bad. Just a little disappointed in the boys in black today, is it?
Yeah, it's a weird bet. And then Charlotte's got the Buzz City alternates. It's like not even like their normal teal. It's like a slightly different teal. I don't even know. It's everything looks weird about it. And yeah, we can get into them in a second. But yeah, probably you got a more condensed episode today. Not too much crazy's happened. I know we've both kind of had a not sports focused weekend, so we'll just kind of get into some stuff here that's happened in the three major leagues before we get into the draft stuff on our midweek episode before Thursday night's draft. But getting right into it here, and why don't we lead with these very Celtics here? Been, I'd say, interesting week from them. I've had people ask me how I'm feeling about the Celtics. I've said better, but now watching today, I don't even know if I can say that anymore.
Yeah, you felt a little good after the bounce back against Phoenix because, I know it was like I said, it was the end of a long road trip, so you got to hope for a good win then, and that's what happened with how bad Phoenix shot the ball that night. So, I guess you felt somewhat kind of good, but still, you can add a little asterisk to that win just because it was like the end of a very long road trip for them. And now they've come back with kind of two really disappointing efforts, and just where's the defense?
Yeah.
100 points in three quarters. Come on.
Yeah, 118 right now at 325 left. Charlotte's shooting 53% from three-point range. The perimeter defense clearly is not there. Again, Charlotte's definitely a scrappy team here, but yeah, I don't know what's happening. It's just like you said, 100 points in three quarters versus the Charlotte Hornets. We're definitely on the rise, but no LaMelo Ball, no Gordon Hayward. It's just, I mean, Terry, Devontae Graham, those guys are going out. But yeah, they've waved the white flag here. We got Cornette, Carson Edwards, Tremont Waters in the game. So we'll call this one a wrap here. So ends up being a 1-3 week for the Celtics actually. And again, we were coming off that Bulls game, which was again kind of a weird one. This is really the one that's really sticking with me. I mean, the Bulls, you were on a win streak that was going to end at some point. Not your best effort, but whatever. Then you have a strong game on Thursday night without Jaylen Brown, with Tatum struggling. Kemba had a fantastic game, dropping in 32. And then even Friday night, I'm not going to discredit them too much because that really was just, it was basically just Tatum versus Kyrie, and it was a close game. And I still think Brooklyn supporting cast, even without some of their top guys, is better than what we have without Jaylen and Kemba able to go. It was Fournier's first game back. So, Tatum had a 38-point effort and really just didn't have too much help beyond that. I think Smart chipped in 17, but
yeah, looking at the box, it was Smart at 19. Again, that was no Walker, no Brown. So Romeo
right
actually at the start, but Peyton Pritchard, a nice 22.
He had a good game off the bench too. Yeah, but it was, I don't think anyone else was close to there. No one else even had double figures beyond those three.
Yeah, and Evan Fournier was 0-7 off the bench, but he said it was the Tatum Kyrie. If you actually look at the box score, it seemed like it was Tatum versus Joe Harris. He was the leading scorer for the Nets.
I just meant out of the two teams' big threes, like on paper, it was Tatum versus Kyrie. But Joe Harris was the leading scorer for Brooklyn. So he
Kyrie also had a triple double.
Are you giving me credit for Kyrie or not, Mike? You're going back and forth here. Jeez.
Yeah, I just saw 4 of 19, but I saw he had 11 assists, 9 rebounds. So okay.
Yeah. And I just thought of this and I didn't even mean it to be, but I have a pun here. It's like, again, as bad as the week's been, this is the one that really stings, if you'll say, from the Hornets here. But I think, like I said, the Chicago one, whatever. Brooklyn, you fought them hard, and then you just put up an absolute stinker. Something with these Sunday games, they just
the worst.
Besides that weird one versus Denver where they ended strong, just I don't know, something doesn't work there. They're gonna lose by 20 points here.
Yeah, and even just thinking even the ones they've won outside of that Denver one, I'm thinking back that Washington game a month ago where they needed to be able to dribble it off his foot or something. So
he slipped. Yeah.
So it's a very, very tough loss for them. They definitely need to bounce back on Tuesday at home against Oklahoma City. So if they lose to that team, then nothing against the torture chamber, but
No, and they got to pick it up because they're getting dangerously close to falling into this play-in tournament, which is just embarrassing, really. Like, I mean, this is a weak Eastern Conference. There's a lot of like 500 teams. There's not a lot of. I mean, they're not garbage, but they're not anywhere near good at the bottom, part of the range here. And we'll get into the Eastern landscape, in a little bit here. But really, it's just I don't know. I mean, I know they've had a lot of injuries. They've had a lot of guys in and out of the lineup, and I do really want to see what happened. Oh my gosh, game's over, but it's a Tremont Waters air ball one to Cornet. But the yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do want to see more consistency, see what this team looks like fully healthy. But again, I don't think that's an excuse. They've had a lot of these guys healthy for a lot of these games, and even today, they're at pretty much full strength minus Rob. And you put up a terrible performance, and you let Charlotte shoot over 50% from three, and put up 125 points on you in the middle of the fourth quarter. It's just I don't know. This is a really bad loss, I think.
Yeah, it's just games like these. It's just like a very tiring to watch. It's like you just look at it and it's like them not even trying on defense. Like open threes left and right. It's just I was rather watching the Red Sox today than I flipped over on the Celtics for a couple minutes and it was just
yeah
like forced shots on offense with easy shots and for the Hornets and I just got very tired of watching it very quickly.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's just it's one of those things where I kept thinking like, oh, they might come back, and I think they even had chances. They were getting some turnovers late in the kind of late in the third quarter there, and looked like they're going to turn things around, but they couldn't stop them on the other end of the floor. I just kept looking wide open three, and they
cut
were
it to 7, and then it was like just like Devontae Graham 3. Like I was just following like the play-by-play. It was like Devontae Graham 3. It was just like Jesus. It's next thing you know, it was back up to like 13.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, it's really frustrating. This team again, right when you think they turned the corner, I think it was a real statement win. I think even coming off of the East Coast trip in the middle of that second out of back-to-back for Phoenix, and they didn't shoot the ball well. You were able to keep Devin Booker in foul trouble. I still think that was an impressive win, all things considered, especially with that Jaylen Brown in the lineup. But again, they do that. You fight Brooklyn a little hard. You don't win that game, but I mean there's some fight there, and then you just put an absolute stinker today, and it's just really getting frustrating watching this team. I think I spoke too soon when I said I'm feeling better because now I feel. I mean, because again, they had that little win streak, but now you've lost 3 out of 4, and that was a real test for you, and you only won one game.
This team has been one step forward, 2 steps back the entire year because like lost in the mix, and that was probably one of Kemba Walker's like best game as a Celtic on Thursday.
Yeah,
it was unbelievable in that Phoenix game. But we're sitting here today, and all I can think about is how terrible they look today. And after lost to Brooklyn, it just got forgotten because it's just they've already undid all that good work.
Yeah, it's frustrating, and again, we're getting into the final stretch here. We'll see if I don't know. It seems like they'll be able to avoid that. They might be able to avoid that play-in portion, but then I mean, if you get that 6 seed, and you got to play Milwaukee in the first round. You could be looking at an easy first round exit there. I think you got to get into that 4-5 game if you're the Celtics.
Yeah, but it's gonna be tough with these freaking Knicks.
Yeah, we'll get to them. I had a few.
We're in the New York.
Yeah, no. Let's hop into. I wanted to start at the top of the standings here. Philadelphia has actually lost 4 straight games. I was checking the standings today because I know they're kind of jockeying them and the Nets for the 1-2 spots. I saw Brooklyn was at the top, and I always kind of look at the ESPN standings there. I look at either the last 10 or the streak, and they've lost 4 in a row. Again, one was when we were recording the last episode that Embiid like 3 quarters heaved that. Like,
I ended up seeing that. That was crazy.
Right, it was very close to dropping, but yeah, Philly's on a bit of a downturn right now. Again, following that game and just,
that was a big series for Milwaukee that had 2 straight games in Milwaukee, and it seemed like it was a pretty close one on Thursday night. It seemed like actually never mind. It was a little backdoor covering, and then yesterday
smoked last night, huh?
Yeah, thanks for coming out yesterday. I think that was again an afternoon.
32-94. Jeez.
Yeah, 46-31 in the fourth quarter. Yeah, because even like there was a 7-point game on Thursday. But looking at it, the Sixers won the fourth quarter 30-16. So
yeah,
it seemed like just they didn't even show up to Milwaukee. So they're coming home to also play the Thunder. So come on. Thunder on a back.
Yeah,
like They got,
Oh, because the Celtics will play them second.
yeah. The
Yeah.
Celtics got destroyed.
Yeah, I'd say I don't even think you can be close in that game. I think you got to kind of go wire to wire in that one. But yeah, but yeah, so Brooklyn's able to get into the one spot, and they haven't even been playing super well. I mean, they've been playing pretty well with Kyrie just kind of leading the team here. But they're at 1 now, Philly at 2. Milwaukee's just been in that 3 spot. They've been locked in for months now. It seems like they're not going to go up, they're not going to go down. But then when you get further down, as Mike was alluding to, the New York Knicks have won 9 straight games. 9 straight. Has this like this is the biggest they've been since like Linsanity, right? Even when they were good in the year after that, and got the 2 seed in the East, it just like I don't know, it just seems like a feeling of what I'm seeing on like Knicks Twitter or NBA Twitter, just like
no longer free agent.
Crazy. yeah. Our guy Kyle, dropped the free agent. He's back being a Knicks fan. But yeah, sitting in the 4 spot right now. They've worked their way up, and yeah, so if the season ended today, the New York Knicks will be hosting a playoff series.
Yeah, it's really funny too. Just seeing like all these Knicks fans. It's like it's mid-April. I'm getting more enjoyment watching the New York Knicks than the New York Yankees. Like it's unbelievable.
Yeah. For anyone who falls there, I think that's probably a little more, because I think before the Nets moved, like New York was like, no matter if you were Yankees, Mets, Jets, Giants, like the Knicks were just like the basketball team in New York. So I think a lot of those fans as well. That it's almost like, oh, did you see that? Did you see that meme, the end game one?
I think I did, but can you say it again?
They're on Vormir, and it's just like the Yankees and Knicks are just like a life for a life. Throw the Yankees off the cliff.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Knicks have won 9 straight, and they're looking good. I mean, what can you say? I think we mentioned a few weeks ago. I think open and shut case as far as most improved player being Julius Randle.
Yeah, and then so their next game will be tomorrow against the Suns.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking like because the Suns are also playing the Nets and like about off.
Yeah.
What a brutal schedule it is for the Suns right now. They went to Milwaukee, went to Philly, went to us. Now they're going to ending this East Coast road trip playing both New York teams, and when they come home, they have to host the Clippers and then the Jazz.
Jeez,
what a brutal stretch for this Phoenix team.
And they've done pretty well. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like they're
clearly... they're 2-1 so far on the road trip. So
yeah, and they're still like 7-3 in their last 10. They're still sitting at the 2 spot. The Clippers have been playing very, very well though. And we'll kind of hop between the conferences here, but they've won 9 out of their last 10 as well. So they're really pushing to get that 2 seed, try to steal that from Phoenix, maybe even at the 1. I mean, the Western Conference standings, I didn't even put this in our notes here, but that's getting very compelling too, because you have the Jazz are only game and a half up on Phoenix and only 2 games up on the Clippers. So I don't know. You could see any one of those, like that order I could see falling really any way from 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and then even going further down, Mavericks did some work. They had a 2-game series at home against the Lakers and they beat them twice. So
yeah, and then because
Lakers playing in the play-in tournament.
Oh my God, that's something that would happen too. Like they would do that, and then they would also they'd still
make the finals too. But...
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be very interesting to see if the injuries, like again, if they're going to be able to get back into rhythm in time. Like, is this still like kind of a Lakers probably in the finals, or are we going to see someone else emerge here? Is it going to be the Clippers, or could we see almost a wild card? Like I say wild card, even though the 1 seed, but like Utah and Phoenix teams that I don't think anyone going into the year thought could win the West.
Yeah, that's fair. I think just a lot of people forget because of how last season ended how good the Clippers are.
Yeah, they are. They're a really good team.
Yeah, even after losing some guys, and I gotta say that any team that brings in Rajon Rondo I like them. So
it's a smart move. It really is, especially if you have other point guards there. If he doesn't have to be the guy, if he's just like that veteran presence on the team who can move the ball around. Yeah, absolutely. And
even like picking up Cousins too, like just another big because they herald to the Lakers. So
I actually do want to see them do well, because I think it got like the jokes last year were like funny, but I feel like it went way too far. But like, oh my God, you actually thought this team could really compete for a title? Like, it's just like, all right, like they blew it. I don't think that's like
literally the last season before that, Kawhi was taking a worse team, and that was like the Raptors. Like, they have a better
yeah, and like I don't know. I mean, I'm a big Lowry guy, but like Paul George is a better player than Lowry, or I guess even more Siakam in that instance. And then I don't know. It just seemed like too much of like an over overcorrection the other way, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so I think the Clippers, that if
And
you're
they're
them,
doing
this is
and
your
they're,
year.
and they're doing all this with Kawhi out. It looks like I'm just like going
Yeah,
through some box scores, and it's a lot of PG-13, Reggie Jackson
yeah. It's
type
Reggie
game.
Jackson time.
Yeah, and also
But
like looking at the schedule in the West, the Blazers are now down into that play-in tournament. So
yeah,
they've had a pretty brutal week.
mhm.
They
They're another team that can never quite get themselves into the best like seeding. Besides that one year where they made the Western Conference Finals.
even just going back to when the Celtics played them, Celtics beat them by 1. They beat the Spurs by 1, lost the Hornets by 8, lost to the Clippers by 1, lost to the Nuggets by 1, lost to the Grizzlies by 2. So even just in
Hmm.
a short window of the last 3 games, they've lost by a combined 4 points.
Yeah.
So they're kind of hitting a little schneid.
It's almost funny though, because I mean, you're obviously going to try to win every game and avoid that tournament at all costs. But it's almost like depending on how the standings shape up, are you almost better off like
Yeah.
being the 7th seed and facing like Utah or Phoenix and running into the Clippers? If the standings, if it finishes how it is now,
If the
like,
top,
would you
the
rather
top
be
5
there?
as the top 5 finishes.
What's that?
I mean, if the top 5 is like locked in their seating.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if the top five's locked, then I don't know. You might want to be a 7 or 8 seed versus the 6. If the Clippers are the 3, because they seem like on paper the best team healthy. Like again, I'm saying healthy because obviously the Lakers I think have the most talent altogether, but taking into account health and the actual roster itself, the Clippers might be the strongest team. So maybe you do want to avoid that. I mean, you don't want to have to win more games before you even get to a 7-game series, but. That's another thing that stinks about this. Like they can almost be a play, like trying to level off at 7, but now it's like, yeah, it's
Yeah,
weird.
because even just like if you got in as like the 7 seed, like you're also avoiding. I know this is different. You want to only be a 7 seed because if you get down to the 8, then you got to play the Jazz and then the winner of Nuggets Lakers last year's conference final.
Right,
So
right.
it's like a semi easier half of the bracket too if you end up in like
That's
the
true. Yeah, the
you get, like
yeah, so that could
Suns
be
and
a
then
sweet spot.
you got either like Luca or Kawhi in the next round. So it's a little easier road.
Yeah. So yeah, the West is definitely getting compelling. I'd say at that 1, 2, 3. It seems like we're going to get a Lakers Nuggets first round series in
I
some
like that.
fashion. Me too. Yeah, I mean it's one of those things where I mean we know Jamal's obviously out for the year, but I mean if you get Davis and LeBron back, then I think it could be a pretty easy series for the Lakers. But it just seems like that's kind of just destined to happen there.
I mean, I don't know, man. The way Jokic is playing, I'm not going to doubt him too much.
It's just tough in a 7-game series versus the Lakers. If they were matched up against, like, say, Phoenix or Utah or something like that, I do think that would be enough to maybe carry them over. But yeah, just I don't know, just something about him. Like I know LeBron's going to come back and get into 0 dark 30 23 as he calls it. And yeah, it's tough to kind of go against the Lakers, especially if you don't have your second best player.
Yeah, if they have any chance, they're going to need MPJ to help up.
Take that leap, yeah.
Yeah, like I know they have Aaron Gordon, but I think we know what Aaron Gordon is. Like, fine player, but
yeah,
not going to be a difference maker. I also forgot a very underrated pickup. They picked up Austin Rivers. I kind of love that move for them. Just get another.
I don't get what happened. Like I thought he was playing well. Like what happened with the whole Knicks thing, and then he got traded and then released.
Get traded to Oklahoma City, and then they're like, we have young guys. You don't want to play for this team.
Right. Yeah.
You're not going to waste your time. Like, pick who you want to play.
Bottom out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he like waited a couple weeks until Jamal got hurt and signed with Denver too.
Okay. So. Then yeah, that actually is a good spot for I think both of them. A situation that worked out. So yeah, the West is definitely getting compelling. We'll see where we end up with this play-in tournament. Or, kind of who lands where, and then quickly hopping back east. I know we mentioned the Knicks on that 9-game win streak. Also. It's going to be a big week as far as I don't know if you're a Celtics fan. I think you're going to be pulling pretty hard for the Sixers this week. They have a 2-game set versus the Hawks. So if the Sixers can get back to their winning ways, knock the Hawks down a peg, maybe that opens up a bit of path for you for the 5 seed. But also you have to keep your eye on Miami, who now the Celtics are now tied with record-wise. They do have, I think they're winning the tiebreaker because ESPN has them as the 6 and Miami as the 7, but identical records at this point. So that's another team that could potentially leapfrog you and bump you down into that tournament.
Yeah, I think I want the Hawks to be the 6 seed. So I think that'll be a fun matchup, like Trae Young, like that Trae Young and Giannis, like that's like kind of like a fun matchup.
Mhm.
I had like just Knicks Celtics or even flipping around the coin if we fall down to 7, like Knicks Heat, like that seems like two like good 4 or 5 matchups.
Well, obviously, selfishly, I want to be in that 4-5 game, but then I don't know. Yeah, Heat, Sixers, Jimmy's revenge. Like I don't know, just
Yeah.
versus old team there. If that's like again, say the tournament goes as like chalk, and then you have Charlotte versus the Nets, which would be
Mismatch.
probably a one-sided game. But yeah, if you're the Celtics, I just think you got to get into that
Unless you
4-5
got
matchup.
Terry and Gordon get their revenge on Kyrie.
That's true too. Yeah. But yeah, I think this just focus on that 4-5. Like,
You don't even need to be the 4.
no, just get to the 5. Honestly, I mean, like, I would obviously love to be the 4, but if it comes down to a game 7 at Madison Square Garden, so be it. But yeah, I don't know. I just think you
I
gotta.
have a bad feeling if it comes down to a game 7 at Madison Square Garden, so be it. Get the quote card ready, and then we're gonna have to go there and just get demolished.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm just saying, like, then yeah, I'm just trying to be somewhat realistic, I guess,
Yeah.
because the Knicks tape's on fire right now. A full 2 games behind them with the 4 seed right now, sitting at 6. So yeah, I don't know, just kind of tying up this whole thing here is just the Celtics have to get healthy, stay healthy, and play with more consistency. And then I see you chuckling over there, Mike. What do you
I'm a
got?
child. Just gonna preface this, but Hyunjin Ryu got pulled from the 4th inning today with a butt strain.
Oh,
Just got Bleacher Report.
thoughts and
Hyunjin
prayers.
Ryu has glute strain, which is like
It's working them out. Working them out too hard. But then yeah, just one thing. And then AD for the Lakers, he's returning in their next game. Do they play today? I can't even remember, but I know he's on his way back, right?
yeah. I thought he
I
was
thought he did play,
back.
but I thought
He was back.
oh
He returned on Thursday. I was like, I'm pretty sure he played both Mavericks games.
no. Here's what I did, Mike. I went to their page on ESPN, but like it weirdly left me on April 19th as
Gotcha.
like their most recent game, and I don't know. It was I clicked on the wrong box. I read the chronological order wrong, so yeah. But yeah, so AD's back for them. That
A
should
little slow to start. He only played 17 minutes the first night, and then he got up to
Mhm.
28 last night, but he was 5 of 19, 0 of 6 from 3. Only grabbed
Yeah.
3 boards, so it's kind of just gonna be a slow burn getting him back.
Yeah, so they'll obviously try to ease him back in there. But
What happened in this?
yeah, so what's that?
I was trying to figure out what happened. It was just I heard OB going crazy in the living room. I think it was just a nice double play.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've explained my my TV cable package situation. So once I put the Celtics on, I'm too lazy to hook them up. So I threw the Bruins game on. So we'll have eyes on both of these.
We're gonna
So the
transition
Bruins,
there.
yeah. So that's it. It's actually a great transition. We're gonna go to some NHL quick. Yeah, Bruins. So the 3-game set against the worst team in the league, the Buffalo Sabres. We said 5 points. They got 4. So that's super. But again, playing the same team 3 times in the same week, and you won the first 2, dropped the final one there. So not ideal versus a really bad team, but you still did most of the work there.
Yeah, especially with like I said, 3 straight games in Buffalo kind of can just like wear you down. You play a bad team in City. This was
in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a kind of disappointing loss, but it's hard like in any sport to beat a team like the professionals. So
has the team ever been more excited to go to Pittsburgh than a team that's been trapped in Buffalo for a week?
yeah, not Rath's best performance. Halak also
Mhm.
got in, so seemed like Swayman was not dressed in that game. I wonder what the situation is today.
He's playing today.
Yeah,
He's starting today.
they'll probably just do some rotations between the 3 of them.
Just like have someone not dress
Yeah.
every game. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, it looks like Swain. I can't tell who's on the bench.
probably like when
but,
Tuca plays, they'll have like Halak be. I don't think Halak's getting any starts, but like it'll probably be just like when Swayman's active, he'll be playing. That's what I'm probably gonna happen. But yeah,
so
this is a big one today because they definitely need to get 2 points here because they standing pretty much where we left off last time with 2 games in hand, but definitely comfortably in that 4th spot. So Pittsburgh's sitting in the second one. They've kind of gotten
that's what we were kind of saying when we hopped on here before we started recording. It's just like I feel like these teams keep just like in any conference, especially it just seems like they keep like, oh, here's they have a 2-game set, they split or something like that. So there's really not many takeaways from a lot of these games. The standings are saying for the most part pretty unchanged.
Yeah, because like we were talking about before, the that's probably the two of the best teams, at least in the eastern side of the country. Carolina and Florida, of course, two hockey
Right.
hotbeds. They
Yes,
play this
exactly.
weekend, and I mean Thursday and Saturday, and they split. So not many takeaways there. The standings out there remain pretty much the same.
Yeah, so they split, and then they both remain above Tampa. So Tampa's still in the 3 spot in the Central Division. Nashville kind of in play for the final playoff spot as it stands now, a 2-point lead over Dallas. And then, yeah, going back to the Bruins in their division again, kind of they seem like, I don't know, they would have to really collapse here to miss the playoffs altogether, but they are kind of sitting at that 4 spot and slotted to play Washington as of right now. But yeah, like you said, kind of big game today. You can make some ground in these standings if you're able to get a win on the road in Pittsburgh here on national TV with their 3:30 start here, and we're about partway. I think a little bit over halfway through the first period. Yeah, 8 minutes left, and still 0-0 here. So
Yeah, and I guess if we getting ahead of ourselves, the team I want to play would probably be Pittsburgh, just because I feel like Washington is giving us fits all year.
Well, definitely not Washington. I would say maybe
Washington
the
seems like the
Islanders.
best team in this
Yeah.
division, and the Islanders we've only beaten once.
Okay.
Like
So you're saying we should
at the start of the year we just couldn't win on Long Island. We won everywhere else, but we couldn't win on Long Island.
So maybe by that logic, we should just tank this game, get Pittsburgh into the 1 spot.
Or we can just go up to the 2-3 because
What's easier though? They're only 1 game. We're 3 games behind now.
A couple in a row here, so
that's the thing too. I do have to give the Bruins credit. I always forget because it's so different than every other sport that's percentage because it's points based. The Bruins still have they've played 2 games less than all these teams.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. We're comfortably in 4th, but we have the 2 games in hand to like make up some ground. But I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen.
Right, exactly.
I feel like we're making up lands. Like we said, we played I think like Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and now Sunday, and we're still on pace with everyone else.
Yeah, we can't make up any ground. So this is actually a set as well because they'll also play the Penguins on. Well, this is good news, Mike. I'm going to take a look at the schedule. So you have the Penguins today, again, going on right now. You play them on Tuesday, and then you come home Thursday, Saturday to play those very same Buffalo Sabres. So, right, just what the doctor ordered right there. And I think that's another one where I almost want to say you need all 4 points, but at the very, very least 3.
You need all 4.
Yeah, you need all 4. Exactly. So again, sorry, go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say you got to fight for a split here
in
Pittsburgh.
So. Yeah, absolutely. And then really, I mean, you can kind of see the rest of the schedule from here. And then you have, so you have the 2 with the Sabres, then 2 in New Jersey the following week, 2 at home versus the Rangers, and then 1 game with the Islanders and 1 game with the Capitals to end up the season. So
I was gonna say, I think we played Pittsburgh a lot and Buffalo recently. Well, I think we played Pittsburgh a lot at the beginning, and Buffalo a lot recently. So it was like after I saw that, I'm like, we got to be done with them. I was like, I think we got some Rangers games left. I feel like that's the team we played the least. As far as we have more Devils, I feel like we're always going to New Jersey and just losing, or even coming here. That's another. That's the one bad team that's giving us fits. We've done a good job with Buffalo.
But they're a bad team. So I have to think again. That's 4 straight games versus teams that are already eliminated. That's here. We'll keep doing it. Our favorite. I think you need 6 points there.
I think you need 8.
You think you need 8? Okay. I'm trying to be like I don't know. Maybe you drop 1 here and there. Yeah, maybe 7. We'll go 7. Meet the middle there. But yeah, so I mean, there's opportunity for the Bruins to get into the middle, maybe avoid the Capitals in the first round. Because I agree, they just seem like an absolute wagon. And again, they've been able to beat them a couple times, but they definitely seemed like the best team out of this division here.
The Chara effect too.
I know. Like the karma comes back, something like that. Yeah, he'll make a big play.
Probably
in that
was
series.
the right call to free up some minutes for our young decor, but
it's like you'd like to at least I mean, if you got to play them, hopefully again, like save them for the second round if you can get there. So. But yeah, just a few other notes. Avs are back in action after COVID. The Leafs have won 2 in a row following a long win streak, and then out west,
sorry.
What's that?
1-2 after a losing streak.
What did I say?
After a winning 1-2 after a winning.
Well, that wouldn't make sense. So yeah. All right, yeah, 1-2. My thought process was there. I would clearly just say, they've won 9 in a row. You know what I mean? So yeah. It's the sentiment was there. I just used the wrong word.
Yeah.
But anyway, then going out west, we've seen. Speaking of streaks, We have seen the Vegas Golden Knights win 9 games in a row as they sit atop the Western standings with 70 points. And then the Wild are coming up behind on the Avalanche, who again coming back after that COVID pause. They've won the Wild have won 7 in a row, so 2 hot teams there out west.
Yeah, it's definitely the Knights are doing themselves some favors because comparatively, the 3 best teams in that division are up top, and there's a big gap between fourth. So if you can avoid a series against one of them, so being the 1 seed there is definitely gonna be a prize. I
Yeah,
think
because then you get what
realistically, it's the top 2, but
Coyotes.
the Wild's gonna play this hot. I forget what the kid name is. He's unbelievable on the Wild. He's gonna be up. I think it's down to 2 people for Rookie of the Year, and he's one of them. It's just gonna kill me. You can keep talking. I'm gonna look up this guy's name.
Yeah, no, I mean that's it. I mean, because again, that's kind of all I had for NHL notes, so I don't want to transition too quickly here as we start to get to MLB when Mike looks this name up here. But no, I'm excited for here. I'll buy you a few minutes here, Mike. Just like talking about again, starting to get back in. I've definitely been a fan of the return of baseball, but we're getting the final stretch here for NBA and NHL, and the playoffs for both can be a lot of fun and a lot of intensity. We're getting it again a little bit later in the calendar than we usually do, but I think it'll certainly be a lot of fun. And has Mike been able to locate the name?
Yeah, it's
young man. Okay, awesome. All right. Well, yeah. Again, that's it. We're gonna get, I think, that's gonna be a great first round series. Whoever it ends up being. Again, if the Knights are able to hold on to the 1 seed, then you're looking at Colorado, Minnesota could be a very compelling. That's one that has like 7 games written all over it.
Yeah. Well, the thing, the reason why it took me so long, like I think I saw his name and I was like, wait, what? He's 23. Like I saw born in '97, and like I think that's close to me. I'm no longer
old man. Yeah.
But I think he signed from Russia. So
yeah. NHL rookie. So, but yeah, so again, we'll keep an eye on both of these leagues as they get in the final stretch here, final few weeks, and we'll get some mid-May playoffs starting there. But to go over to MLB just for a bit here, the Red Sox, who were on that very long win streak for a while, they were looking hot. They've really cooled off this past week or so.
Yeah, it's they're looking good today. They're in the 8th inning. It's that's when you go on a 9-game winning streak and then you come home for 10 games, you think it's going to be a great homestand, but they're trying to salvage a split against Seattle and even just a split in general of the home.
It would be a split in general. They would split every series if they won today, right?
Big split. It was a
4-2-4, yeah.
Yeah.
So 2-1-2, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, still sitting on top of the AL East. Like they're not like slipping right now.
No, they cooled off. That's what I put. They've cooled off.
Well, I mean, yeah, you just think like we play 500 baseball the rest of the way. They just had a 9-game winning streak in the middle. Like everyone was projecting like 85 wins. It seems like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, again, I haven't been able to catch the last couple games here, but I was able to watch the end of the game on Thursday, and I don't know. There's something about Franchy Cordero, man. It's like I feel like he's a terrible fielder, and his strength is supposed to be his bat, and he's not even hitting well either. So it's just, again, he had that play in the game that Pivetta was pitching. He had the no hitter going, right?
Yeah, no hitter through 5 2/3, but he got a little jumpy, and like I think he's like because that no hitter mark is once you get to 6, everyone's like, okay, time to watch.
And he had 70 pitches, right? So it's like you wonder if they're going to pull you
relative to nowadays. I mean, relative for a no hitter, it wasn't like the Edwin Jackson, like 145 pitches.
Well, we'll ever see that again.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know, like usually around the league, I start paying attention after 6, but for like a local guy, it's like through 4, you're like, oh, like
even 5. Like once you get like an out in the 6th inning, like once you're 5 and 5 and a third,
I was paying pretty close attention to that, and I think got to him. So he worked himself in trouble. He had 2 walks, and then it was like a hard hit liner to left field that you're like, oh, like hard hit, but it's the way you played left field in Fenway, the Green Monster, a guy's right there. And I don't know what Franchi was doing. He was like playing like 15.
Playing deep shortstop, right?
Yeah, he's playing deep shortstop. And then he didn't know he could run backwards. He just ran in a straight line horizontal and just jumped. And it went over his head, and then 2 runs scored. And if you blinked, and it was a tie game. It seemed like the game that they had complete control on. BC kid Justin Dunn for the Mariners pitched pretty well, but he served up a meatball to Devers that went, he took advantage of it, hit it 4.
Yeah.
So it seemed like a game you're in control of, and next thing you know, it ended up being a Mariners win with a little 9th inning magic.
Yeah. So I mean, for a while there, they had what 4 runs on like 3 hits, I think, or something like that, or even two. I don't even. It was
Oh yeah, it went. I went to. I think it went to extras 3-3, and they had one hit.
yeah, yeah. So I think they got like one or two more when they got to the fourth spot, and then I
Yeah,
don't know.
because
I think
was
one
the
of
game that Ottavino came in, and it was he walked two guys, and then they did a sacrifice bunt, and then Ottavino threw it in the outfield.
I think that might have been that game because, but then also that was the game where because it was 3-2 at that point, right? Like
Yeah,
they
yeah,
were winning
because the
3-2.
Sox didn't
Okay,
beat them. Yeah,
yeah, because out of
nothing
yeah,
kept in the outfield.
yeah, Ottavino blew that, and then Darwinson came in, and he's the one that kind of like opened the floodgates in extra
Yeah,
innings,
and
which is
extra.
again, he's been one of their better arms this year, and then he kind of just surfed it up there. I turned
Yeah,
it off once that ball landed in the bullpen.
yeah. So we're focusing mainly on the Thursday game, the start of the Mariner series. We
Yeah.
did going back to Wednesday. I know we
Yeah.
recorded during it,
We
and
can hop around a little. Yeah, that's fine.
we have a lefty problem in the bullpen because like I like Darwinson, he has electric stuff, but he does walk a lot of guys. He had a
Mhm.
very bad outing. And then our other
Yeah.
lefty, Josh Taylor. How is
Yeah.
this guy? He
Oh,
just
Buddy
looks like
Garrity Jr.
he looks like a white flag. I was listening. It's like he sucks. He also looks like he sucks too. Like
Yeah, he like comes in, you're like, this guy's not gonna be good. Like it'd be one of those, yeah. Yeah. So that was bad, obviously. And then this isn't really a bullpen issue, but then just Garrett Richards too. I'm already pretty done with this guy.
yeah, he did bring his coat.
Yeah, what does that even mean, man? Like just like oh, never had to wear a coat before. Like
Do
have you
you know who
never
you signed with?
also like okay, you pitch for the Angels. They play the Red Sox and Yankees and uh like all these other teams, right? That play in cold weather, right? Like you don't play all of your games in California. Have you never had a jacket?
Even in California, like Oakland's a lot different than LA.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I don't know. It's just this, yeah.
I,
I don't know, but
I do because it's 162 games. Like, of course, it's a fun team. Like, it's good to like. Last year, I hated almost everyone. It's good to just like have a couple guys you just hate because even like in
to
20,
hone in on, yeah,
even like in 2018, you had to watch Drew Pomeranz left and right, who now is an electrical lever. But
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Well, he's one of those just like NL guys, but
yeah, so it's good to have a couple guys between Richards, Taylor, and now Franchi. Because even in extras in that same Thursday night game, he took another bad ball. Like he had to like do like a jumping catch like Benintendi did in the World Series, but he just doesn't catch it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't
I
know.
know the metrics will say he plays an above average left field and his arm's great, but
No, my eyes tell me differently.
yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, a few first-rate pieces. I think for the most part, the offense is not really just like most of this team, really in general. The offense has been pretty good. I think there's a lot of likable guys, and between Kike and Verdugo starting the lineup, they obviously playing with a lot of passion. The usual suspects in the middle, and then it got a tail off during the end there. I think we've expected a little bit more out of our guy Bobby Dahlbeck, but I think he'll find it. He'll find his power, but I think it's just getting that getting off the schneid a little bit there. We'll get him hopefully.
Yeah, I think once he hits one, his power will be there.
Yeah, falling a little bit short of the Rockets' 46 mark this year. I don't know if we'll quite get there.
Gonna need some.
He's gonna need some hot months. Yeah, but yeah. So again, Red Sox cooling off a little bit, but they do remain atop the AL East standings here, which is again early on, but obviously what you like to see to start the season. I did want to check in to see. The Yankees have gotten out of the basement. Good for them. They've won 3 in a row.
Yeah, they've done a good job in Cleveland. They were able to win on Friday, and then Cole outdueled Bieber last night. I was on 1-0 Cleveland game, and I checked in like, oh, because I love Bieber and he's on one of my fantasy teams. I checked in. Of course, it's the one inning. He gives up 2 bombs to Hicks and Odor, and that was it. Because Cole kind of pretty much shoved the rest of the game. But I believe Cleveland's up 7-3 right now. My boy from you, a nice home run, nice 3-run dinger to put them ahead in the 4th, and I don't think they look back.
Mike, and then
Sox are up with up 2 runs, 2 outs in the 9th. So I'm just gonna say I think we're gonna win. That was pretty. I watched a little bit today. Yeah, pitcher on Seattle just refused to throw a strike. Guess how long he went?
How long?
A third.
Oh God, jeez.
3rd inning, 2 hits, 4.
That'll kill the old ERA. Yeah. Man. And then I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, Central standings, like in the Royals, I think have played a lot better than everyone thought they were going to, sitting in first place. So that's impressive. But I do really want to focus on Mike. Oakland still wasn't lost since our last show, which was already they've won 13 games in a row.
Yeah, they're fortunately down
They're
8-1.
losing right now.
8-1.
Okay.
Also 2 outs in the ninth. It was Austin Hayes had a pretty big game per game with 2 home runs off my boy Jesus Luzardo. And yeah, but I mean, even so, 13 wins still is pretty incredible. So
yeah. So I mean, that's going to be coming to an end today. But yeah, that's insane in baseball. It's like 2 weeks straight of games almost, and so yeah. Again, the A's are going to be a
1-7 start. That's definitely the bounce back they needed.
Did you have him in the playoffs?
No.
All right. Again, there's something about that team. They always seem to
had a bad time with COVID, but they've won 3 straight to get back to 500.
Yeah. That's a pretty. Well, no, I think that's just one of the division, but
yeah. Yep, Sox won officially. So
all right, mark it up. And then going quickly to the NL.
Also, a quick note on.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
The White Sox are up 8-1 in their game, going to complete a 3-game sweep of the Texas Rangers, which is pretty big for them to get back up. They've been playing some good balls as of late. I think they have the best run differential, maybe even in the AL. Let me do a quick little check. Yeah,
no, Houston's got 20.
Yeah, Houston shockingly has the best run.
And actually, the Red Sox are plus 18.
Oh yeah, it's because Houston. Yeah, they beat the Angels 16-2 last night.
Oh my God, that'll shoot a 14-point increase there. But yeah. And speaking of run differentials, Mike, I'm looking right now as we do hop to the NL, and I don't know. I think we talked about it before. The East is kind of just log jammed at around 500. It's a very weird division. Central, the Brewers are the only team above 500, so they got a 2-game lead over the Cubs and Cardinals. But
Brewers hate me.
Why? Why is that?
I gave them so much credit saying how great their pitching staff is. The Friday afternoon at Wrigley, they gave up like 10 runs. It's just like, come on.
Just looking to make it look bad. But yeah, to go back to run differential, the Dodgers have a plus 33, so they will be the best in the league, significantly higher than the next best team. And that's kind of one last thing I wanted to talk about here with the MLB. We had another electric series between the Dodgers and Padres. Better round this time for the Padres so far. They've won 2 out of the first 3. They'll finish up on Sunday Night Baseball tonight. But 4 home runs in the series for Fernando Tatis Jr. Two home run games. And really capped by last night, that big homer off Bauer where he kind of had the slow strut and it finished with the McGregor walk when he got home. And I mean, the guy is just absolutely electric and truly is the face of baseball.
Yeah, it's so good to have him back. I know he was thankfully that injury could have been a lot worse. He only had like the minimum 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
It's great just to have him back and showing out in these series and just. I know we talked about the numbers being up for MLB. Did we talk about that on this?
No.
Oh, yeah, the MLB TV app is up right now, and if you even just like think about blackouts, like it's crazy because you think about the Boston can't watch Red Sox games. They should be lifting it, but I guess maybe whatever. But like, there's other like cities like if you're in Iowa, they block out like 5 different teams.
Do they really?
Yeah, like you can't watch like the Cubs, the White Sox, like the Cardinals, the Royals, like stuff like that, just because like you're sort of in the middle.
Because you could theoretically get them somewhere else.
I don't know. I think I've just heard say it.
So I wonder if if you have cable there, you could literally like get the I don't know. But
so
do we have the demographics there? Isn't there a lot of old guys?
I would like to think I don't have any ages, but I would like to think that it would be mostly young because it's the
app.
I
hope. Yeah. Oh, the app. I guess you're right. Yeah.
It's like
if the app's up, then that's good for a younger demographic.
Yeah. So I think it's players like Tatis to like get us all interested. Like,
yeah,
I think this is the most buzz around baseball I've had forever. And
but between him, Acuna, you have obviously your classic guys like. Yeah, like Lindor, you have. I mean, we joke about him a lot, but I mean, you do have Mike Trout, who is obviously a big name as well. And I mean, that's great news. But then also just it's good because I want to see some resistance here. We know how dominant the Dodgers are. I would love if the Padres could win tonight too, just to like say like, oh, Dodgers won the first series, Padres won the second one. Just
especially with this one being a 4-game series in LA, if they can take 3 or 4, be up in the season series 4-3 because it's tied.
Yeah.
This would be a big game for them. What's the matchup tonight? It is Joe Musgrove versus Dustin May. Joe Musgrove also had a no
Just
hitter
threw the
earlier.
no hitter, yeah.
Yeah, he got roughed up by the Pirates after the fact. And then Dustin May.
First the Pirates, of course. Why would you not get roughed up
Hey,
by
they're a pesky team. Pirates boogie. But yeah, I mean, this has been a great series. This is like probably the one thing I've been able to pay attention to. Like you do stuff during the day and just throw on these games late at night. It's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
on Thursday night. It's actually pretty crazy because it was a 2-2 game in the eighth, and Tatis was up, bases loaded, no outs, and he actually grounded into a double play.
Oh no.
So that's how they took the lead, like in from the back door. And then
Okay.
that game ended with a Cronenworth Tatis double play, like on defense. That was amazing. So that was a pretty electrifying game on Thursday night, and then on Friday, that's what's kickstarted this Tatis home run fest. I think
Just
that
4 home runs in 2 games.
that double play, the key in the eighth, definitely sparked some motivation for him. And the best part is, I think it was 21 on Friday night. It was 21 years to the date. Fernando Tatis Sr.
had
2 grand slams at Dodger Stadium.
Was he? I was forgetting. Was he switch or no?
I think he was just a right-handed bat. At least
okay, no, because there's some weird stuff. Didn't he do in the same like inning or something crazy?
Yeah, I think it was 2 grand slams in the same inning in that game.
That's what it was. Like I couldn't remember if it was both sides. I think someone else was both sides of the plate. That might have actually just been Bill Miller. Now
I think it was Bill Miller.
But then I think Tatis was 2 in the same inning. That's what it was. Tatis Senior.
So,
but yeah, one of the best things too. I mean, just kind of talking about baseball coming back too, and having this resurgence is. I absolutely love the quote from Trevor Bauer last night. And he can be kind of all over the place. Like there's some things that he says I really agree with, some things that are like, I'm like, what? Yeah. But when Tatis absolutely pimped that home run, and he was just like, I love it. I like that. If you guys have to be able to celebrate that, if he takes me deep, like I don't want to throw at him the next day or like the next time I see him. Like I think that's so weak. So I absolutely love that quote from Bauer, and I want to see more pitchers have that attitude.
No, that's why I'm a Bauer guy. He's like, when I strike you out, I want to celebrate. So if you take me deep,
yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, I'll start off the mound if you strike out Tatis in like a big situation, I'm sure he'll bark at him and yell off the field, and same thing if Tatis takes him deep, he's gonna give you the McGregor stud or strut rather, and whatever that is. So I think that's awesome. I need more pitchers need to stop taking themselves so seriously and adopt that attitude that Bauer has.
Yeah, and it's fun. They even like going at it on Twitter today. Like, not sure if you saw that. Like,
I didn't see the exchange. No.
It was just like, I believe like Bauer was, like, talking crap, and then like Tatis did like a classic like Photoshop of like him like holding a kid, Photoshopped Bauer's face on his face, like I'm like your daddy, like stuff like that.
Yeah. So. That's funny. No, that's awesome, and that stuff you love to see, because again, if this game is going to kind of, have this resurgence with the younger crowd, you need exciting stuff to happen. And that's exactly what Tatis is. So we need to encourage that, not being people who do that. So, that's awesome.
And then just like going back to the series, like I just love the pitching matchups in the series. Like another Darvish Kershaw on Friday. Darvish pitched amazing on the, like I know we said Tatis said the 2 home runs on Kershaw. If like anytime he needed a big strikeout, Darvish just curveball was just right at the bottom of the zone. And then even just Snellbauer last night in a great matchup. And then even this Ryan Weathers kid who pitched on Thursday, nice 0.59 ERA. So I wish they could play 50 times a year. All these pitchers.
Seriously, I know. I'm like, I was so busy this weekend. I didn't get to. I really wish I had time to just sit and watch this thing. So
what was I saying on Wednesday? I hate that we're gonna be 7 out of the.
I know. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I'm picturing. I had a big, early birthday this weekend for the girl over here, so kept me busy. But no, I see your point. I'm just. One in May would have been nice. I think, like, right. Maybe a couple weeks would have been good. But anyway, so that's
this last baseball take before we wrap up. We have to give credit to Jacob DeGrom. He's going off right now. He had a nice complete
stupid stats, right?
He had a complete game 15 strikeout game this weekend, and he has through 29 innings has 50 Ks. So it's unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, just a few final items here as again we kind of wrap up MLB there. Big thing, kind of just more not really a tease, but kind of a preview for what we're going to have on Wednesday night when we do our show. Where we do a little. It's going to be very focused on the NFL draft preview. It seems like this is pretty much just going to start at pick 3 because we're Lawrence and Wilson are pretty much, well, especially Lawrence locked in, and Wilson seeming to get pretty locked in himself at Zach Wilson at the number 2 spot. So the Niners are pretty much on the clock at 3. Got to think they're going quarterback. We'll probably talk on Wednesday about where we think they're going to go in that as far as the direction there. Mike and I'll probably try to prepare some mock drafts midweek. Maybe throw those up on the Twitter account following our show, and we'll maybe do a little bit of a rapid fire as we go through the first round. So that'll be most of our focus on the next show here. And finally, like we end so much of these shows, just have to give a really sad RIP. Terrence Clark tragically killed in a car accident. Local guy from the Boston area, played college ball at Kentucky, was excited about entering the NBA draft in a couple months, and really had so much ahead of him. Just signed with Clutch, with LeBron and Rich Paul and the guys over there, and just absolutely taken way too early. So a tough sight to see. He was very close to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum up here, being a local guy. It really would have been cool to see him at the next level, and just a real shame that both a great and talented player is gone, but even more importantly that a young man's life has tragically been cut so short.
Yeah, especially being from around here. I think he was very proud to be like a hooper from the Boston area. Like I feel like anytime we saw like a clip of him like doing like these like showcases and dunking, like you'd see like his hat be wearing like the classic like Red Sox, Celtic, Patriot, like ever seen those hats? Like,
yeah.
Like he was always going like a huge Celtics fan. Like you said, was very close with Brown and Tatum. Like happened on Thursday night. Even like Stevens, like he seemed to be pretty close to the team. Because Stevens wouldn't even talk about the game after the fact. He was like,
I was watching. Yeah, I saw that from the press conference. Yeah, he didn't really even talk, and that was coming off of that Suns win, which was a great win for that team. And he just like he's like, I can't even like talk about that right now because this much more important thing it just happened.
Yeah, I think he was like literally coming back from like driving back from signing with Clutch. His teammate, I think it was Brandon Boston, was in the car behind him and had to see the whole thing. So like prayers to him too, having to be so close.
Yeah.
Stress on that, and even just seeing. I know I sent you the quote from Coach Cal.
Calipari.
Like,
yeah,
I've had a good life. Like I've had a good run. Like take me instead. And like that stuff will bring the tear to your eye. So rest in power.
Yeah, absolutely. Just completely tragic. And like you're saying, I saw an iconic picture of him. He had like the Red Sox jersey on and hat, and he was just like took a picture outside of Fenway. So especially hits close to home. I mean, anytime someone that young loses their life, it's obviously tragic. But yeah, definitely hits close to home more, being a guy from Boston. So yeah, obviously, prayers to him, his family and friends and everything there. So just wanted to kind of wrap up the show there. But yeah, so we'll be back on Thursday night, or Wednesday night rather, before Thursday's draft. Have a little preview for everyone there. As I hope everyone has a great rest of their Sunday before we head into another week back at the grind. And we'll see everyone Wednesday night.
See you guys.